What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am so excited to talk about the Sephora semi-annual sale. This is a sale if you are an avid Sephora shopper that happens twice a year, once in the winter months, once in the summer months. For the last year or so, have actually been doing recommendation videos and also wish list videos where I talk through just some products that I would recommend to you guys. I do have a playlist, so I will have that link down below. As I did with the last couple of review videos, I'm going to keep my recommendations very concise and dense. I did just do a roundup of a whole bunch of products yesterday, so if there's any products that you want more thorough opinions on, definitely check out that video. That video was over an hour. I also did link and list everything, and some of the products that I will be talking about today I did talk about in yesterday's video. Some I have actually more so recently got my thoughts. So I think those are all of the kind of disclaimers. If you want to learn more about the Sephora sale and more about my recommendations, let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so the sale is starting tomorrow. I'm going to try my absolute best to get this video up late Thursday. If not, it's going to be up around midnight on Friday, which if you are EST like I am, you still got 3 hours before Sephora really hits over to PST time, which is midnight there, and you can start shopping. What I will say in the years of me shopping the Sephora sale is a couple of different things. One, know that 20% is pretty much the basic lined standard at this point within the sales industry kind of aspect of beauty. So in a lot of websites at the individual brands, you can actually get 20% off just by joining their newsletter. So keep that perspective in mind. Two, a lot of things really don't sell out overnight like they used to. They may go in and out of stock throughout the sale, the whole 2-week period, but do know even if they're out of stock, just put your alerts on, and if you really are desperate, I'm sure it will come back in stock. 3, during this time, a lot of brands will do actually better, if not at least the same percentage off on their individual sites once again. So keep all of this in mind. And then lastly, of course, there's always going to be another sale. The products 9 times out of 10 are going to come back. Even if it's during this holiday season, very few brands really sell out of all of their stock right now. A lot of brands really have stock at least to November-ish time, late November. So if you're looking for something, 9 times out of 10, you can get it at least up until late November. So don't feel any type of pressure to kind of pick up from this particular sale. Last thing, and then we will dive into the recommendations. I did not talk about any of the brands that I know for a fact do at minimum 30% off either during the year or during this holiday season historically. For example, KVD. Always do 30%. Absolutely will never pick up full price or even 20% off at the Sephora site. Fenty Beauty literally just finished doing 30% off. Why are you picking up 20% at the Sephora site? Huda Beauty minimum does 30% off on their website, along with the Kylie items typically are at least 25 to about 30% off on their website every Black Friday time period. That's the only time I actually pick up Kylie perfumes. Pat McGrath, absolutely not. At this point, I hold out until the items are 30 or 40% off of her site. I have gotten items 40% off on her site. And then last but certainly not least, that I have to demonstrate is Danessa Myricks. Danessa Myricks also I've seen 25%. So I'm going to hold off hopefully for any products that I really want from that brand. Another brand that I've seen, and I just didn't pull any items from them, One Size, I've seen 30% off advertised a lot for their website. So this is just a handful of brands and items that I just strongly would recommend you either check out influencers when they showcase those sales, because a lot of influencers do showcase sales on their community posts or their other social media platforms, or just sign up for their newsletter, because I promise you they are going to have 30% off during the holidays. It's at this point, it's standard known practice for my brain. Okay, so I've always done these. The last couple of times I've been doing one product that I recommend, and I'm gonna stay true to that. So for primer, I'm gonna recommend the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smoothing Drops. I do know that it has an active in this primer, so that can be irritating to some people. I haven't heard that it's irritated anybody's skin, but I really do enjoy this product to help mattify my skin. I do typically go for either a mattifying primer or a gripping primer. That way my more skin-like, satin-like finish foundation can really adhere to my combination skin. I am also 29 in combination skin, just so that you guys know. So yeah, I do really like this product. If the actives is just a no-go for you, the only other primer that I would recommend that I have not previously otherwise recommended in these kind of context of a video is the LYS. I really think this is a solid gripping primer. It is less gripping than the Milk Makeup, so if you've tried that one and it was just too gripping, I would recommend the LYS. I also do have a code and an affiliated link with the brand, so if you don't have the money right now but you want to get the product later on, just check out that code, and I do believe the link is down below as well to give you guys some percentage off. So for foundation, this is actually a foundation I've been testing out literally only off camera, and it just kind of worked out that way. A lot of the products that I have showcased on my channel foundation wise have just been a weird shade for me, and I'm really learning kind of how the beauty industry can sometimes advertise falsely skin tones online. Anyways, this is the foundation that I've been really enjoying. I've been reaching for, excited to wear makeup because of it. This is the Seal. I don't know how to say it, but it is their Tint and Protect SPF 50 Tinted Serum Foundation. I have worn this in the last 2 or 3 videos that I have uploaded here. So if you've enjoyed my base, it has pretty much been this. This has been the main change that I have done. I've pretty much been wearing that same terrible concealer, but I've been loving this. This is a very kind of serum-like finish. It doesn't feel or really look like there's a lot of coverage, but it's a glass, effortless look. I love it. I did film a tutorial with this. I haven't edited that tutorial yet. I really wanted to get this video up first. Maybe I will get that video up sometime this weekend if I have the time. I have a lot of academic things coming up deadline wise, but the tutorial with this product will be up next week, and I don't think this product is so popular that it will sell out. So if you're very interested in this foundation and you want to see the application, just stay tuned. Next week I will make sure to get that video up. And like I said, the sale is for 2 weeks, or maybe I did not say. The sale begins for Sephora Rouge members on the 7th of October, and it goes until November 2nd, 3rd, something like that. I will have it flashing on the screen right now just so that you guys know. So there's quite the length of time to get any products that you're really excited to get, and I'm just very happy that I picked this up, and I would strongly recommend it. Something that I think goes pretty hand in hand with that particular foundation in the serum realm, it's a beautiful, effortless base, and it really can add coverage very quickly, and it can also look like you're really not wearing coverage, is this Tower 28 concealer. I think this would be the concealer out of the 2 that I talked about yesterday that I really would recommend. I do enjoy both products, but I just think that this overall, like I said before, for pretty much any skin type would work. So this is in the shade 14. The Seal I have in the shade medium rich, which I do appreciate that I am medium in this range. So yeah, I really like this concealer. I would say this is a nice kind of light medium to medium coverage. The Seal is definitely a light coverage product, but I think they both work beautifully. And that Tower 28 you can use even if you don't have a base product, even just to do concealer for your under eyes or conceal particular parts of your base. And I don't have the seal on today, funny enough. I'm actually testing out yet another foundation that I picked up. I picked this up from a previous 30% off sale from Fenty Beauty. This is the Eaze Drop N20, and I will have everything that's on my face listed and linked down below. So far I like it, but I've literally only worn it once, so I don't want to sit here and recommend it. I haven't tried it for any long term. So the one powder that I'm going to recommend that I've not talked about in this context, once again, is the Kosas Silky Cloud Set. I really like this powder. It's nice. Like I said in my review video yesterday, it gives a nice amount of set that I think will not be too drying for anybody's skin type. It's just really nice. It doesn't have a lot of pigment, once again, which I appreciate. I don't want a powder that is going to change my foundation or my concealer. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm going to ever appreciate using this as a under eye setting powder. I do think that this does darken that spot up just a tinge, but if I'm using this literally on my foundation, I do like this product. So I would go ahead and recommend this for an overall face setting powder. And that might seem like a lot for high maintenance to have a powder for your foundation and a powder for your concealer, but a lot of people do that, and I just prefer to keep my under eyes and my, you know, concealed areas a little bit brighter than the rest of my face. So I definitely would recommend this Kosas, and it is the Cloud Set in the shade Silky. I'm pretty sure I figured that out yesterday. We're going to keep going. So now it's on to cheeks. For cheeks, I am going to recommend technically two products, but they represent for two different things. For the kind of cream bronzer, I'm going to shout out the Give Bronzer Duo in Heat Wave. I just really enjoy this product. I will say once again, this is definitely a contour shade for me. I think it is also just the depth level, but this bronzer is the perfect bronzer for me in depth with the combination of that contour. I will say though, it is quite a warm undertone, very much orangey undertone bronzer. So if that's not your vibes, I would not recommend this, and I would actually recommend the powder bronzer that I'm going to recommend. But that so far is the newest cream bronzer that I'm actually enjoying that I haven't talked about in this context. The only powder, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this, but this is literally the only powder bronzer that I can think of, and this is the Haus Labs in Deep 11. I've literally memorized this the name because I use it so much and I recommend it so much. Absolutely love this. The beautiful Baked Gelée formula, and this has a nice kind of yellowish undertone that it just works for me. Absolutely love this. Highly recommend. For blush, I have two different formulas. Again, mainly once again, one's a duo, and I'm recommending it mainly for the cream, and that's going to be the Patrick Ta Duos. I right now have the two shades that I most recently talked about yesterday, which is She's a Doll and She's Wanted. Once again, like I said yesterday, the creams are so pigmented that if you're somebody who, you know, is not an avid cream person, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a beginner friendly version, but I like an extremely pigmented cream, and I like to kind of blend it out throughout my cheek area. You also can use the powder. I would say regardless if you use it the Patrick Ta method or traditional method, you're still going to get a glowy cheek, and so you really need to know that going in, especially if you put on quite a bit of the cream. That's really where you get a lot of the glow. If you're not a fan of cream cheeks, or you just don't want something as pigmented as that, I will say the one other product that I could think to recommend for you guys once again is the Haus Labs blush. I just really like these blushes. I think they're great. I have 2 or 3 shades at this point. This one happens to be Lavender Blonde, the same shade that I reviewed yesterday. I really like that product, and it has a similar, I wouldn't say it's the exact same formulation as the bronzer. That has a little bit more of a traditional powder formulation, but it still has some life in the finish that I really enjoy, slightly more so than the Give. Although, like I said in my video yesterday, the Give really does have a solid formula. It's just a little bit more matte in that true blush, and then the highlighter is like more blush topper, but on my skin tone I prefer to use it as a highlighter. When we come to the highlighters, unfortunately these are just repeats, and there's nothing new in the highlighter realm that's available at Sephora that I truly love. So this is the Merit cream highlighter in the shade Citrine. I love this highlighter. This is my favorite shade. It is a beautiful kind of orangey goldy highlighter. This is my favorite formula, my favorite shade when it comes to cream highlighter. I don't understand why I keep trying other formulations. That is the one that I would personally recommend. And just like a lot of other people, if we're talking about powder highlighter at Sephora, I definitely would recommend the Rare. I just think this is great. This one happens to be in the shade Flaunt. I have kind of teetered and tottered around getting a second shade. I haven't done it yet, but I definitely love that formula, and I really love that shade. I've gotten so much use out of it. Okay, let me get some auxiliary stuff out of the way, such as lips. Or actually, let me talk about mascaras, because I actually don't have either of the mascaras that I would recommend. I have two that I would recommend, and I feel that they give two different looks, so that's why I'm recommending two. One is the Tower 28. I actually really like that mascara. For me, it definitely needed to dry out. I gave it about a week, and then that's when I actually started to enjoy it. Sometimes I need that for mascara, sometimes I don't. For this particular mascara, I did. This one, in my opinion, really gives a nice amount of length. You're not going to get a lot of width. You're not going to get a lot of volume with this mascara, but it is a very good mascara, and I truly did enjoy it. Another mascara that I want to really recommend to you guys is the Rare. I got that in my Sephora box last year. Fell in love. I always said I was going to get another one, and I just never did. I really want to try to remember to get one this year. I really like that mascara, and a lot of the mascaras that I have right now, I'm not a particularly big fan of. So I really want to get some mascaras in my collection that I actually enjoy, and maybe just stop testing out mascaras. It's not my thing anyways. I really don't care, but those are two solid mascaras that I've really enjoyed. And when you enjoy a mascara, you know it. So I would highly recommend those two mascaras. When it comes to some lip products, I don't have a lot of recommendations at all. If we're talking about my favorite lip liner formulas, there's only really one that's available at Sephora, and that is this Artist Color Pencil in the shade Limitless Brown. This is one of the shades that is available in the 4-pack of miniature artist pencils that they currently have as a gift set. I would recommend that gift set if you need a new shade in all of the color variants. Otherwise, it really just doesn't make sense to recommend that, but it also doesn't make sense to me to pick it up either. So that's that for that. For actual lip colors, the balm that I would recommend is from Summer Fridays. I like this balm because it does not have too much pigment, but it has enough to be multi-purpose. So if I put a lip liner under, this can work for literally wearing makeup and going about my day, but it also works really nicely without a lip liner when I don't have makeup. I like the versatility of this, so that's why I would recommend it. When it comes to a little bit more pigmentation, but still in that satin realm of a bullet lipstick, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend the Kulfi. This one is in the shade here, because the shade is not on the bottom, and I already forgot it after doing my description box yesterday. But it is a beautiful brown. If you know me at this point, I pretty much exclusively wear brown lip products. This has a beautiful satin finish. It is opaque, but it's not like opaque. It's a lot more opaque than this product I'm wearing right now. I'm actually wearing the Valentino lipstick that I picked up recently, and I'm testing it out per usual, but this definitely has a little bit more opacity. But like I said, it's more in the satin range. I really like it. I would highly recommend it. If you want something that is a lipstick product, but you want a little bit less satin, a little bit closer to the matte, but not a straight up drying matte, then I would actually go ahead and recommend the House Labs crayons. I really like these crayons. They're beautiful, really easily to apply. They're not super drying. You got a nice little tip so that you can really paint on or fill in the amount of product that you want for your lips. You can blend these out to get a little bit more of a popsicle look aesthetic if that's what you want. This is another multi-purpose, very versatile product. I really like versatile lip products, versatile products in general, and those are some products that I would recommend for lips. When we're talking about eyes, this. I have one primer that I would recommend, and that's the Laura Mercier Caviar Sticks. I really like these. I do tend to reach for these more so on my more natural days, but I have been experimenting lately and just in general with these on some more colorful looks. I don't find that this particular shade on my skin tone really allows the shades to necessarily pop, but it is a nice shade, and this shade is Al Natural. It's nice. It's nice. It happens to be in my project pan, so if you want to keep lookout on that, you can see how quickly I get through this particular product. I really like the formula. I would recommend it. As for eyeliner, I would really recommend the Cold Feet eyeliners. I have two. I picked them both up separately, although they do have a duo set available right now on Sephora, and I am keenly eyeing that product because I really love those eyeliners and I would highly recommend them, especially for a Sephora brand. I really require that my eyeliners really sit in my waterline and stay, and a lot of those liners really, they just don't, or they just take forever to apply. That is extremely creamy, and I just find that they set down and then they last. Two eyeshadow palettes that I want to recommend. I'm recommending two mainly just because one gives you some color, one doesn't. And the one that I'm actually wearing on my eyes right now is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. What I will say is I prefer the mattes, if we're being honest. I don't think that the shimmers are all that in a bag of chips. I also understand the concept behind this, and this is to kind of be slightly better than you know what I mean. All of his products in his line are really kind of just adding a little bit of sheen, a little bit of va-va-voom to your already existing beauty. And I like that, but I wouldn't say that this is my favorite formula, but I haven't seen Makeup by Mario's website enough to know if that brand does a lot of sales. And I would say that if this is something that you really, really want, you've done your research, you understand the concept behind it and how blendable and how they kind of blend together, you really don't get structured looks, all of that jazz, and you really want this, I would of course always recommend getting things on a sale than paying full price. And then the other palette is, once again, a slight caveat to it, is the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. This is just my favorite palette that she has released this year. I'm pretty sure I've previously recommended her My Dream palette. I love that palette as well. These are definitely the top two palettes in my mind right now from her range. And what I will say is, I think that Natasha Denona is a solid brand to pick up during the sale, but also do know that if there are two products that have similar vibes or kind of can work well together, Natasha Denona is going to do a bundle deal on her site where you can get both of them pretty much for the price of one, if not a little bit more, during the Black Friday period of time. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people kind of forget about that. She does do a pretty good deal for her website. It's just not going to be a flat out 20%, not always. She does do flat out percentages on her website, but I would err on the caution of just expecting to get a bundle for your money than getting that discount, because it's not always super reliable. And I think the last thing I'm going to be talking about is the setting spray that I recommend. I don't really have like must-have holy grail setting sprays. I wouldn't even honestly say I have must-have holy grail anything, but I do really enjoy this setting spray, so I do want to talk about it. This is the Natural Finish LYS setting spray, and once again, like I said before, I do have a code, I do have a link, but this is a product that I think is great for after you have kind of depowdered your face. So if you're somebody like me, you put powder on your face to set your makeup, you definitely want a setting spray that has a lot of glycerin that's really going to kind of wet that powder and kind of make it seep together with those creams, as I talked about yesterday. This setting spray is not going to do that, but what it will do is give a nice finish to the skin. I did of course apply it today, and I just feel like if for whatever reason your face gets really dull or get really mattifying, you put that on, and I think it gives a nice little natural sheen to the skin, which I truly appreciate. Now, that is all of my recommendations. I really tried to keep it sweet and to the point, but I do know that I talked for quite a bit. So that is my bizzles. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through my Sephora favorites list. This is pretty much the list that I kind of comb through when it gets to the sale. I honestly haven't really thought about what are the specific items that I'm going to be picking up for the sale. I know there's certain categories that I skipped, but honestly, I talked about the categories that to me are really pertinent. Let's just go ahead and talk about them very quickly. I do currently have the Valentino High Pigment refillable lipstick for holiday in my favorites right now. I need to triple check what the finish of the lipstick that I have purchased and was literally on my lips right now. I don't find that this is high coverage. I find that it's like a satin finish and it's kind of see-through. So if this is their high coverage, that's going to be easy pass. I won't lie though, I am intrigued by that product. Currently the Summer Fridays lip balm is out of stock, but I also did see that it's available in stores only. So I don't really know what they're doing with this product, but this is definitely a product that I want to pick up. This is the set that has 3 full sizes, and the scents in this particular set is cherry, vanilla, and iced coffee. I have the vanilla beige shade, so this would definitely be all 3 new lip balms, and I would definitely love to pick it up. I have quite a few products from the Melt and Disney Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas collaboration. I tend to really wait out Melt products in general, either on Sephora or a Melt's website. They tend to go on sale, whether it's because the website's on sale or just the products are on sale. So I think I'm going to wait it out. I don't think the products that specifically on Sephora are going to be selling out anytime soon. Maybe the eyeshadow palette, but I don't really want the eyeshadow palette from the first collaboration. I want particularly the eyeshadow palette from the second one, if I can get my hands on it, and maybe a couple of other items. So yeah. Long rant aside, I'm probably going to be skipping this as well. The perfume that I'm aiming to pick up from this sale is the Jo Malone Ginger Biscuit. I love everything about this scent. I've been waiting to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up. I want to try to get it in store. I just don't want it to ship to me and be damaged, but this is definitely going to be my scent that I pick up from this sale. Potentially, I'll be picking up multiple. I also am interested in this Vegamore thinning hair serum. I have just some thinning around my edges, and I just want to kind of tighten that up, just a personal thing. It is quite expensive. I've seen way too many commercials for them in my YouTube days, so I figured if I'm going to pick it up, it is going to be on sale from Sephora. One of you guys actually recommended this toner to me when I was talking about a roundup or a haul recently with the one product that I can't stand the smell. I don't even remember the product. That's how much it came and left my collection. And this is the Pharmacy Brighten Up Dark Spot Toner. So this is definitely going to be in my cart. I definitely want to go ahead and try this out. I also have one of the Dior Addict Lip Glows in my cart. This one happens to be Deep Nude 20. This is just a product that I need to fill my case that I bought for the holiday. So that's definitely going to be something that I pick up. Whether the color is the exact one, I'm not sure. I also just threw in quite a few Westman Atelier products. They're stupid expensive. I doubt I'm gonna pick it up, but it's just the thought and the dream and the aspiration that put these in my hearts list. One is in the shade Red Berry Bichette, and the other one is their cream highlighter in the soft pearlized bronze suede shade, which is Peu de Piche. I'm sorry. I tried to say the description instead. It didn't work out. So either way, they're both in my cart. Whether I'm going to pick them up, I don't really know. I also have quite a bit of perfumes. When I was in Atlanta, Georgia, the Sephora that I happened to be in for my friend, because she needed to pick up something, had a lot of scents that I just don't regularly get access to. The Queen and Monsters Eau de Parfum is great. I really loved it. I think I'm gonna get a travel size of this. I also was really into the replica Under the Lemon Tree, and then also Commodities Milk Expressive. These are 3 scents that I smelled during that spring event absolutely love them. So I would love to get maybe a travel size of all, one, two, who knows, and just have them, see if I really get a lot of use out of them. If I do, then I'll just go ahead and upgrade that into a full size. Orbe is a brand that I've talked about previously when I had really bad scalp issues, and I got their scalp calmer. Really liked it. I went through it, and then I just never repurchased anything else from the range. And I've just been considering, like, why? The products did really well. Why don't you get more products to see how well your whole head does in general? So I have one of the other three products in the my cart, or my favorites right now, for that range. So I have the shampoo, the conditioner, and the scrub. 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty much going to get that scrub. The other two products, I'm not positive I'm going to be picking up because I just don't need a shampoo or a conditioner right now, but I definitely am running low on my scrub type product and would love to pick that up. Another hair product that I am considering, I've heard really great things, is this JVN strengthening treatment oil, and it's supposed to be like a pre-wash for the scalp and hair. I think I'm gonna ultimately pass on this, and if I pick up an oil, it's gonna be that Vegamore. I'm just more interested in that than this, but like I said, I heard great things, so I put that in my cart. Of course, I had to put an Urban Decay Moon Dust Shadow. I've heard so many good things with these lately, and I just feel like I've got to know. I've got to know if they work for me. So I have the shade Lithium. I originally had the eyeshadow palette in my cart, but then I was thinking about it. I'm like, sis, you don't even know if you're going to like the formula. So I want to try the formula first, and then if the palette's still available, maybe I'll pick it up later. Tarte, a lot of people have been talking about these lip balms. I gotta know. So I have a brown nude in my cart. We shall see. The Seven Virtues Cherry Ambition perfume. I have a sample or travel size. A lot of people have been saying this is their favorite cherry scent. I need to know. I right now would say my Huda Beauty, or the Kayali cherry one is my favorite, but I'm intrigued. I gotta know. I've told you guys time and time again, this Kofi eyeliner duo is mine. I want them both. I also have the Emi Cole liquid eyeshadow, and I'm intrigued. Don't think this is going to be a thing that I pull the trigger on this sale. Also, I just heard recently a not so great review about the Glossier Buildable Coverage Foundation, and honestly, it's from somebody lately that I've been having a lot of very similar opinions on, so probably gonna wait and sit that one out. I can always buy it in the future. A lot of people have really been raving about the Patrick Ta Lip Shine, and she's expensive, and of course the YSL lip gloss sticks. We'll see if I pick this one up. That one's in nude caramel. I don't really know. They're both expensive, so I definitely want some discounted percentage off. It's never available for me to smell, so I really want to just get my nose on it, and unfortunately right now it looks like the only way that's going to happen is if I buy a travel size. I also have the NARS Lightweight Advanced Skincare Foundation. This is an old one, but I did hear some raving reviews. I'll probably eventually pick this up, but I don't think, once again, this is going to be the product that I pick up. And then I have two kind of indie brands found perfumes that I previously have smelled through sampler sets, and I just never picked them up. One is the Deadco Red Dakota Eau de Parfum, and then also the 1969 Capri Eau de Parfum. That's actually on sale already, so getting a sale on sale might be a really good thing. Like I said, this sale is not the end all be all of anything, and although I just went through that list and was talking about all the things that are in my favorites, all of those things are not going to necessarily make it into my cart. I don't really know what I'm going to be picking up. I find that, it's a lot about how I'm feeling in the moment to see if I'm going to pick it up or not. I do like to use this sale as a way to pick up things from certain brands that I don't want to buy from the brand, or I don't want to get on their newsletter. And then also you just get a bunch of things all at the same time in one package. You get a bunch of things from one store, one order from a bunch of different brands, and it's nice. It can be nice. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope this was pretty chill, laid back. I hope that you got some insight into kind of where I am at right now. Like I said, I'm probably going to pick some stuff up. I will definitely be showcasing a video so that you guys can see what's going on. I also will be showcasing my Beautylish gift card event purchasing, because I did pick some stuff up there. So there's going to be quite a few hauls coming up, as I'm sure you're going to be buying up quite a few things. This is the time to shop, quite a bit of sales. Stay tuned. You know, there's so many sales. This is only the beginning of the sale season. And also know, if you are 15 to 10% off, because you are VIB or Beauty Insider, typically Sephora does a 20% off sale after this sale period ends, where anybody can get 20% off. So you might even get a better discount just waiting. So keep that in mind. And then lastly, I do tend to really focus in on independently owned makeup. So a lot of my recommendations may be different compared to others, and they also may be like older or whatever have you. So if you are somebody who you just prefer to buy from Sephora, I definitely would strongly recommend you find YouTubers that buy a lot from Sephora and are up to the new when it comes to Sephora. Like I said, I do predominantly buy from smaller independently owned brands. So this is just my perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.